I would like to introduce to you these young guys, man. It's called the Price Boys. And real quick, man, I was on the subway heading home after playing basketball at the YMCA, right? And I was at South Station, or no, it was Downtown Crossing. And I was waiting on the bus, and it had like 2 minutes left, but I heard some voices, and they was powerful. They was singing a song that I remember, but I don't actually remember at this moment. But anyway, they were extremely powerful, and I could not resist. I had to run there. I told them about the event. I told them that we need for them to be here, and now they are here. They're about to present their song, and it's called Sam Cooke by Change Is Gonna Come. And you all probably want to gather up behind here so you can, or do you feel like you need the microphone? Can we kind of... Well, hey, sometimes you gotta make stuff happen. All right, it's on y'all.
1, 2, 3.
I was born by the river, in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I'd go to the movies and I'd go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me no, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to but he winds up knocking back on my knees. There were times that I felt I couldn't last it all. Now I found the strength to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Lately I've been thinking that something is going wrong, 'cause you got an attitude and you're not in the mood like you used to. But girl, I get feeling when I hold you in my arms. The feeling is not the same. Can I be the one to blame? I don't wanna lose your love, and I don't wanna see my boy. Oh, true love is so hard to find. It is right between your lips and mine, before I let you go away. Can I get a kiss goodnight? Before I let you go away. Can I get a kiss goodnight? Well, tonight's the Lord. Let's take it nice and slow. My mission is to make you mine. I don't want this to be the last time that we make sweet love. baby. I know you feel it too. It's bigger than both of us. There's one thing to know, and I don't want to lose your sweet love. Don't lose you. And I don't want to see bye-bye. Don't want to lose you. There's the little things I remember, baby, and I don't want it to slip away before I let you go away. Can I get a kiss tonight? Before I let you go away. Can I get a kiss tonight? I'm down on my knees, I'm begging you before I let you go away. Can I get a kiss tonight? Can I get one? I don't lose your sweet love, so don't say goodbye, say goodnight.
Now don't go nowhere. Come on back up here. Come on back up here. Come on, don't go nowhere. Come on back. Come on back, brother. Come on, Price, brother. Yo, I need everybody in this building to stand up right now for these young people. Stand up for the Price boys. Give it up for these Price boys. Thank you. Thank you, yo. I love y'all, man. Y'all killed it. Wow. That's when you give young people that opportunity. I say when you give young people that opportunity to showcase their talent, you turn good into greatness. You turn good into greatness. Those young people right there, the Price brothers, they are truly amazing. Sorry, y'all, I just had a moment. Sorry, y'all. But let's get started with the program. Hello, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. You all are amazing. You all are beautiful. And I love all of y'all. I want to get that out first and foremost. But I'm James Mackey. I'm a community organizer at Teen Empowerment. And let me introduce you all to my co-MC, Liz.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Miranda from Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative.
Word. Oh, I ain't getting no love. No, so just joking. I was just joking. It was a JK. Backspace, delete that. But nah, all jokes aside, man, I'm glad that y'all here. So again, the reason why we're here, man, is to really show perspectives about what's really happening on a local level as well as on a national level, and to share, the importance of young people's voice and why young people matter and need to be heard. All right? And so with that being said, really quickly, some logistics, right? Right behind us, if you walk out these two doors right here and you go to your right, you'll find a bathroom somewhere behind us. So somewhere behind me is the restroom, all right? Another thing, we have voter registration that will be going on. Mass Vote is back there in the back. Where Mass Vote at? Can you raise your hand? There she go. Okay, listen, we trying to register people to vote because voting is important, so I just want to throw that little plug out there. And what we do want you all to know is that today's program is going to be about 4 different areas. We're talking about service, we're talking about youth vote, we're talking about education, and lastly, justice for all. And what I really want you all to know also is that we have a few hashtags. During your time here, if possible, don't be on your phone too much. unless you hashtagging about this event. So here's the hashtag. It may be hard to remember, but hopefully you can get it. Okay, the first hashtag is Opportunity Youth United. Y'all got that? Right, but the other ones ain't. The second one is Opportunity Youth Speak. Y'all got that? And the last one is OYU Speak 2016. So I'm gonna repeat it once again. The first one is hashtag Opportunity Youth United. Second one is Opportunity Youth Speak. The third one is The third one is OYU Speak 2016. All right, so with that being said, we need to move on to the actual agenda. And Liz.
So one more housekeeping. We'd like everyone to put their phones on vibrate. We do want you to engage with social media to let other young people know about this event and our allies. However, we don't want to be distracted, but you can feel free to step out if you need to take a phone call. Raise your hand if there's seats available next to you. So if you're standing up and you really do want to take a seat, try to find a seat by someone who's raising their hand. All right, so I'm going to move to the podium. The first speakers we have today are really setting the welcoming remarks and telling us a little bit about why we're here today. We have LaShawn Amato from the National Council of Young Leaders and Youth Build USA. We have James Mackey for the Center for Teen Empowerment. We have Anthony Thomas, which is a legislative aide for Office of Senator Sonia Chang Diaz. And we have Mr. Ken Smith, Executive Director of Youth Build Boston. What we're going to try to do is you're going to hear from a bunch of people today who have different perspectives related to those 4 categories. And then at the end, we're going to do some closing remarks and a call to action. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Mr. LaShawn Amato to the stage.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. As they have mentioned, my name is LaShawn Amato. I'm a graduate of Youth Build, and I represent Youth Build on the National Council of Young Leaders. And I mean, the feeling that I have right now, I cannot describe. I'm literally watching a movement being built right now, and it's a special moment for me for 2 reasons. One, because history is being made, right? I was part of this group that had this vision of bringing what we were doing on a national level to local communities, right? So that's one. And secondly, it's happening in my city. So let's give it up for Beantown, because we're gonna get it right. So let's talk about why we are starting this movement. So every movement starts with someone, somewhere. So back in 2008, a group of young leaders came together and they said, we're tired of this, of living in poverty, and we need to bring about change. So a group of young leaders from many organizations, including Youth Build, Public Allies, Year Up, who else? The list goes, the National Advisory Corps, you name it. They came together, and what they did was they created a document what we called Recommendations to Increase Opportunity and Decrease Poverty in America, right? And the reason why we did that is because currently in America, again, this is a movement and it's beyond Boston. In America, there are 5.5 million youth who are out of school, out of work. Some of them are on the streets, and they've been written off by society, right? Through no fault of their own. And you're gonna hear that through some of the stories that the students have for you today. So we put together these set of recommendations, which has 2 parts. We have immediate action priorities, which are increase comprehensive programs like Youth Build, increase the presence of mentors, increase private internships, increase pathways to post-secondary education, expand national service, and reform the criminal justice system. And then we have recommendations for broader systems change. So while we've been gaining momentum on the national level, we've talked to the Department of Justice, we've talked to the Department of Education. Hillary Clinton has seen our document. It's getting pretty big, but again, we need communities to speak for themselves. The 20 of us cannot speak for every community that is affected by these issues, which is why we launched into the Community Action Team. And again, Boston is the first, and James our fearless leader, is leading this group in Boston. So I'll kind of turn the mic over to him so he can tell you about our vision for the Boston Community Action Team.
Y'all give it up for LaShawn. LaShawn the Don, that's what I call him. All right, so yeah, man. So about 3 months ago, I made the connection between Dorothy Stoneman, who's the founder of Youth Bill USA, and Stanley Pollock, the actual founder and executive director of Teen Empowerment. And I knew that when you find something good, that you try not to steer away from it. Ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Fellas, y'all know what I'm talking about too, right? Okay, I ain't get enough praise, but it's okay. We'll get back to that later. So we came together, and I invited Dorothy Stoneman to our actual youth and police dialogue, and she loved it. She was amazed by how the young people and the police officers and the staff were able to really build relationships with one another in that 2 hours. Instantly, she was like, wow, this is the perfect location, the perfect place to build a community action team. So what is the purpose of the community action team? LaShawn kind of touched upon it, right? So we have the 20 National Council of Young Leaders that's doing their thing on a national level, right? But most importantly, in order to get people to back these recommendations and to support these recommendations, we need young people. Young people are in the heart of the community, right? So we were the actual pilot program to create this community action team to really mobilize young people, engage with different community organizations, cross-sector collaborations, and to really bring you all here to make this day possible. And so that's essentially what it is of how we actually recruited people to be a part of this community action team. And again, it's all about making change within the communities, not only just on a national level, but at a local and state level. And that's the goal of the community action team. And we want to make sure that not only it happens in Boston, but it happens around our nation. So what we do here will have a ripple effect on what's going to happen in other cities around our nation. So we can't just be good, we have to be great. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Anthony, and he's going to do his thing.
How is everybody doing today? I will be sharing a few words with you all, and then I will share a piece with you all. Hey, I actually see a student here that's from the Burke that I spoke to this week. My name is Anthony Thomas. I work for Senator Sonia Chang Diaz. I'm her point person for youth violence prevention, youth development, also public safety, amongst a lot of various things. I think this is a great event. Too often do I speak to young people that they're not civically engaged, and I'm telling you, it starts with you all. And that's why I work every day, to make a better future for you all, because there was a point in time when I was in your very position. I come from a low-income community, a single-parent household. I have all the symptoms that lead people to prisons. People that look like me, 1 in 3 people that look like me are in jail. So like 1 in 3 black males are going to prison, and that's just the facts of it. Every day I work on legislation, budget, and community work to work against that. And I would speak to you all more, but I think that my artwork pretty much will speak for itself. So I'll step from behind the podium. If you all have any questions for me, I'm very accessible. Online, I'm Ant Thomas. That's my artist name. So if you want to find me, you can find me at Ant Thomas.
But this first piece I'm going to do for you all is called Shackles. I wrote this piece when I was 17. I was an intern at WilmerHale, and I was struck by the disparities. I live in Tent City, so I'm not sure if some of you all are familiar with that, but that's housing that's supposed to be for low to middle income people. And it was just, the disparities were just too real. Today I had a fit. Today I had a fit. Slavery set us up so we walk like this and talk like that and slang that white because money for green ain't right. Leaving us in bondage, forever in shackles, for that paper chase, got us reaching for our waist and killing each other. For we are brothers. Here's a recap in plain so you understand me. Slavery set us up with this slave mentality. No. Slavery left us poor for scores and scores and scores. So in order to get this money, we came together and everyone calls gangs. And we robbed in those gangs, we mobbed in those gangs, sold dope in those gangs. And if you cross our territory or interfere with our money, then we will kill. And one killing will lead to another, for everyone wants revenge. And all of the above crimes got us in jail. Too many black children are losing their fathers to jail. I am scared, you may never see. But patience is a virtue, and it's damn hard to have the money. You can't ask mommy because she lives from check to check. Sharecropping, I like to call it, working, bare knuckles, just ignore all the money back to bills, bills, bills. And I get angry because the ones that get out forget where they come from and spend money on rims. When I gotta watch one of my black brothers eat Wendy's out of the Transylon trash can. Say you got his deep, and the ones who are fortunate must come back and teach. My goals come back and teach. My goals come back and change. When I was 17, I was scared. That just jumped off of my dreams out of my brain. We need to change. And my goal is to change. Thank you.
Listen, is this your phone? It's okay, I'll take it home. No, I'm just joking. That's a joke, I don't steal. Y'all gotta give it up for Anthony one more again, man. We're getting lit up in here. Alright, so next on the program is Ken Smith. Is Ken Smith here? The executive director of Youth Build Boston. Is Ken Smith here? All right, because he's not here, I'm going to have to call up Jarrell Waters. He represents Bison, and the reason why we have to have him go is because he has to go to an interview, man. Listen, we got to make it happen for our people, so I'm going to let him go ahead and do his thing. Go ahead, Jarrell.
How y'all doing today? Hello everyone. My name is Jarrell Waters. I'm 24 years old. I just recently moved here from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm the Youth Outreach Specialist at the Boston Youth Service Network, also known as Bison. This event, right, this initiative is essential for us as young people, but more important for us as a society in the near future. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of options to choose if I wanted to be successful. Not because of my lack of knowledge or discipline, but because those options just were not there. You know, those options that funnel me into the streets, you know, funnel me into the things that this man was just talking about, and it almost took my life. One day I was both shot and stabbed on the same day. Luckily I was here, you know, I wanted to do more, I wanted to be different, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn everything that I could learn to take me away from that. You know, like, the streets can be fun, but it's not what nobody wants. Like, a lot of people are forced into those circumstances. And traditional schooling or teaching, it just wasn't working for me. Did that mean that I didn't want to be successful? No. Did that mean that I was like a statistical delinquent? No. It wasn't until I reached alternative education where I found exactly what I needed as an individual to be successful. Sometimes we as young people, we have very short attention spans. And if something doesn't interest us, chances are we won't receive what is being taught. That's realistic. When I enrolled in alternative education, I received a number of resources that prepared me into who I am today. Through my enrollment in alternative education, I was connected with a mentor, a counselor, prepared for college during my enrollment, transitioned into college during my enrollment, and received a private internship which turned into the job that I have today. Also, we as young people need to stand up and stand out concerning the issues we face on a day-to-day basis. You know, when you know that your brother, your sister isn't going to school, you as that older brother or sister need to step up and stand out and tell your little brother or your little sister to go to school. You know, your little brother or your little sister carrying guns, in gangs, selling drugs. It starts with you, because they relate to you. They recognize the same stuff you recognize. You know, like, we can get up here and have, you know, all kinds of people have meetings and initiatives for us, but nothing's really going to change unless we doing what we need to do. And I say that to say this. Pay attention to politics in these elections, because these are the people that are going to make executive decisions that affect your direct livelihood. And you can't complain about something that you're not taking an initiative to change. So if you're 18 or over 18, please, like, go out and vote. Encourage to inspire. Let's be a part of the solution, not the problem. Stop playing. Thank you.
So, you know, if you know James, you know he does a lot. So he's moving chairs, he's doing a lot of great things. We're gonna move into the next section where we're gonna hear from about 4 or 5 speakers, some very, very important people, and we're gonna talk about service. So James?
All right, y'all, sorry about that. But listen, I just really want to give you a brief introduction about service, man, because service really means a lot. I remember when I was 20 years old and I was going to the Youth Build program, and I had the opportunity to change my life around for the better, but also change other people's lives around. I had the opportunity to build an affordable home in the same community where I was doing my illegal activities. And what did that do for me? That changed my mental and that changed my heart. And that gave me an opportunity to think differently about my approach in life. And because of that, service means a lot to me. So with that being said, I'm going ahead to introduce the people who are going to be speaking about service. So we have, the people who are speaking about service, can you come up, please? I have a hard problem with pronouncing names.
I can help you out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Fatima Pacheco from Europe. We have Arlie Sanchez from City Year in Europe. We have the Mayor of Newton, Massachusetts, Seti Warren. Let's give it up. We see in ourselves as singers, as spoken word artists, as legislative aides, and politicians. Jonathan Mitchell and Richard Owens from Youth Build Boston, and Carice Soto from Kersey.
Yep.
See, you good?
Kersey Soto.
You
I know her, that's why.
Okay.
All right, y'all, so next up is come on, it's on you. What's your name? Arlie. There we go. I got it. Thank you, Arlie. It's on you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Good afternoon. I hope everyone's having a good day today. My name is Arlie Sanchez. I am currently a student at Europe here in Boston. I was born and raised in East Boston my whole life. Growing up, my brother and I faced many tough challenges. Thankfully, City Year and the Boys and Girls Club of America were there for me. Let's see. And City Year was there to ensure that I succeeded throughout middle school, and the Boys and Girls Club was there up to until the 12th grade before it was shut down. The one in East Boston shut down. They made such a positive, life-changing impact for us, and we were grateful to have such a haven to keep us on the right path. Europe makes me feel the same way, like I actually have a great shot at something more for myself. I believe that I can be successful and live the best life I can, and knowing that it's possible, it makes such a huge difference. It gives me hope, a plan, a real path, a real chance. I know that I can do this and that I can accomplish anything I set my mind on. And I want other young adults to feel the same way that I do.
You're doing good, man.
I'm just lost my place. Give me 1 second. And these feelings alone can change someone's outlook and outcome in life. I want to give back to my community, and I want to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed in their lives as well. I will always be thankful to Europe and City Year, and for the hope and the opportunity they have given me. Speaking of opportunity, the upcoming presidential election is an important one and a chance to have your voice heard. If you're 18 and older, I hope you follow what's going on right now with politics and issues and register to vote. You can make a difference. Thank you, and now I'd like to just introduce you to my Europe classmate, Fatima Pacheco.
Hello, everyone. I'm very appreciative to be here. My name is Fatima Pacheco. I'm a student at Europe, and Europe is a great program that is training young adults to be able to succeed in internships in top companies in Boston and beyond. And they provide us with an opportunity that otherwise we would never have had. And I think that City Year does the same thing. City Year is an AmeriCorps organization that is focused on reducing the high school dropout rate. And I was actually a City Year Corps member from 2012 to 2013. And my experience there was so rewarding and amazing. I worked in a 3rd grade classroom in Mattapan, and those students, they were struggling so much academically and behaviorally. We had a focus list of kids that we could specifically focus on and help them and support them and guide them. And their faces would light up every time they saw our City Year team walk into the school. They felt they needed that attention, they needed that support, because many of them were going through struggles and difficulties outside, in their homes, things that their young minds wouldn't even be able to comprehend, that they shouldn't be forced to comprehend. So I'm so thankful for these programs, and I feel like even though City Year is just an example of one program, I think it significantly shows the value of all the other AmeriCorps programs. And they all have different focuses, they all have different areas that they target, but education is so important because it's our future, these students are our future, they're the ones that are going to be making the changes. So I don't know, what it looks like from the perspective of someone who has never had a City Year or who has never been a City Year Corps member, but what I can compare it to is penicillin, which is an antibiotic that has saved lives all around the world. And it's always been there, it just has never been discovered. And that's what City Year does with these students. They discover that untapped potential that these students have. So I think that if Congress goes through with proposed funding cuts, it would hurt these programs a lot. And then the youth will not get the support that they need. So I ask, please don't let this happen, and thank you for listening to us.
All right, y'all. Now we'd like to, give it up for one more again, I'm sorry. Just in case y'all get tired of clapping, we can snap too. Maybe that may help. Because I know my hands are stinging right now, so just snap if you want to. All right. So now I would like to introduce our Mayor of Newton, Mayor Seti Warren.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. That's better. That's better. It is great to be with you this afternoon. I want to share a few thoughts with you about service, but before I do, it really gives me I'm really happy to see the number of young people that are here and the number of young people who are of color who are here. We are give yourselves a round of applause. The reason why I note that is because I've been the mayor of my city for close to 6 years. I got elected in 2009. This is probably one of the most perilous moments that I've seen in politics or public life ever. And I say that because we have divisions in our cities, in our country, like we haven't seen in many years. Divisions along class and race, religion. And one of the things I'm noticing is that we need to have voices of not only economic justice and forward thinking, but we need to have voices that embrace the thinking that we have to make investments in our cities and bring people together so that our future continues to be bright for all people of all backgrounds and all colors. And ladies and gentlemen, I am concerned about where we are right now. This organization that seeks to bring young people into service and government is critical at this moment. We have to depend on you. When I say we, people in positions like mine, we have to depend on you to get active and engaged. We need to hear your voices A few facts here, folks. In the last 3 years, spending on housing and transportation has gone up close to 30% in the Boston area, and including my city. 28%. The new jobs that are being created are of lower wages. You could be working hard, but not being able to afford to live in a house or pay for transportation. We just heard today that the United States Congress is going to cut funding for programs like Youth Build, national service. And when we know every dollar that's invested in national service, there's $4 that pays back in raising young people's wages. So when I say we need your voices, this is what I'm talking about. We need to invest in education, early childhood development, internships for all of you in different trades and businesses in the private sector. We need to make sure education after high school is affordable. We have apprenticeships. We have to make sure we invest in infrastructure, middle-class housing, affordable housing, transportation that works in this state, that's affordable. And we have to make sure we're creating jobs of high wage so that you can take advantage of them. And most importantly, we need you to take a stand and talk to people like me and mayors and state reps. I see the great Representative Byron Rushing back there. It's great to see you. He's been fighting hard for many years in this building. Gloria Fox as well, and Sonia Chang Diaz. But we need to hear you, and others need to hear you, all across the state of Massachusetts. I'm looking forward to working with you. And there is nothing more important than what you are doing today in the United States of America, and that's ensuring that our cities have a pathway for success, and you are our leaders. So I am looking forward to working with you. I started an initiative with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I'm on their national board. I chair their Community Development and Housing Committee, and I was with Youth Build and others. I started this initiative just this year, America Leads 2050. And by the way, that's a website, AmericaLeads2050.org, and please put your name in. The reason why it's 2050 is because I know that you're the leaders of our future. What are we doing in this generation for the next 25 to 30 years for America to make sure there's opportunity for all? I want you to join me. Will you join me? Will we make sure people vote and sign up? Mass votes back there. Will everyone make sure they sign up in the back? Mass vote. You gotta vote. Everyone gonna vote? Is everyone gonna vote and sign up? All right. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you for your leadership. You're gonna hear more from me. I'm gonna be working with you and all the great organizations that sponsored today. Thank you. Let's get to work.
Y'all have to give it up for Mayor Warren one more again. Did you hear that passion? He was saying it with his chest. And he came from the core too. But he came from, most importantly, from the heart. And that's what matters. All right. So, with that said, we got our, what's his name? I'm sorry. Jonathan Mitchell from Youth Build Boston. Come on up here, man. Show them what you got. You see what it says on this shirt? It says, I build, I serve, I am. I build, I serve, I am. Tell them who you are.
Hey, what's going on, young people? My name is Jonathan Mitchell, representing Youth Build Boston. Just really happy to be here. Never really did this before. Bear with me. I'm just here to represent all the young people, and I'm just here to restate the philosophy for Youth Build. So I'm starting. As a community, we are engaged in a united struggle to overcome the social, political, economic, educational, and spiritual inequities that threaten to destroy us as a people. We recognize that as young people, we are one of the greatest resources available to the survival of our community. Therefore, we stand ready, willing, and hereby pledge our commitment to rebuild and improve the quality of life in our community through collective work, responsibility, and cooperative economics, to educate, elevate, and raise the consciousness of ourselves and others along the way, to develop our potential as leaders and positive role models so that we can proactively pursue justice, equality, and peace for all. All this we do with appreciation, much love, dignity, respect, and faith that the collective will of the community is its greatest force conceivable. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate you for doing that, man. All right, y'all. Last part of the service. We're going to give it up to our young lady, Kersey Soto. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kersey Soto, and I'm a 2009 Youth Build graduate from Brockton, Mass. I currently serve as an AmeriCorps Vista at Youth Build USA. National service has opened doors for me that would have otherwise seemed impossible. The skills I've learned through serving are much more than what I would have learned at any school or any job I would have worked at. Although I don't get paid much to do what I do, I can say that that has made me love what I do even less. I mean, if I don't do it, then who will? We need to stop looking at service as a punishment and start looking at it as an educational and growth opportunity. Today, I serve to create change and to open doors for the leaders behind me. I encourage you all to do the same for your communities. Serve, and I guess just love what you do, because I do.
So, here's the great part. The great part, you're gonna hear from a lot of great people today. A lot of them who look like you, are young, youthful, making things happen. Bad part, it's gonna be a little long. So before we get into the next part, which is the voting part about youth vote, I'd like to do one little activity that's gonna require you to either stand up or sit down related to the cause, right? So stand up if you have the opportunity and did vote in the last election. All right, sit down. Stand up if you're age eligible, like you're 17 and gonna turn 18 or already 18 or above 18 to be able to vote in the next election. All right, take a seat. The point of that activity is that a lot of times people talk to young people about the power of voting without teaching the responsibility and the opportunities that come when you use your voice. Whoever remembers, who's our president right now? What's his name? Barack Obama. And what Barack Obama was able to do was to secure 2 terms by engaging residents and students of all ages in a lot of communities. So I'm here to tell you that your vote matters, but as you can see, there's a lot more young people that can vote that don't vote. So we're gonna work a lot on that. So the first person up to the podium, I'm gonna call a few people, we're gonna ask you to sit up with us, is Representative Byron Rushing, Sadia Halley, and Charlene Tavares. You can take a seat up here. John Norena and DeAndre Sanders from Teen Empowerment. And these young ladies, give it up for Youth Vote, Max Vote, making it happen. Hello. Mr. Rushing, you're first. Mr. Rushing, you're first.
Good afternoon. The mayor taught you how to do this. Good afternoon. The first thing I want to say is welcome to the Massachusetts State House. And I want to, before I go any further, just say how good you look. You really look good. And before you leave, be sure you get up here to take a shot that way. You look fantastic. filling this great hall. How many people are in this building for the first time? For the first time, never been in this building before. All right. Yes. I want you to know what I hope everyone else here knows, and that this building is your building. This building is the Massachusetts State House. It was built to belong to everybody who lives in Massachusetts. It is the seat of the state government, and the state government in this democracy belongs to you, and the building that you are in belongs to you. You came into this building, and I don't think anybody had to pay any money for you to come into this building. You came into this building, and you are having this meeting in this space because this is your space. It is your space, but it really is only your space if you use it. It is really only your space if you come here. And it is only your space coming here if you engage the people who were sent to work here. The governor was elected to work for the people of Massachusetts. His office is here. 40 state senators were elected to represent their districts in this building. They are here. 160 state representatives were elected to be in this building. They are here. You are obligated, because you are citizens, because you are residents of Massachusetts, to engage this government. And the people who are here working for you do not know what their agenda is completely until you tell them. And so your task is to engage them, to talk to them. Everybody here has a state representative. Everybody here has a state senator. The state is divided into districts, and everyone in that district has a state representative. You all have state representatives. How many people know the name of their state representative? How many people know the name of their state senator? I want you to do this before this year is out. You all can make appointments to visit, that might take place next year, your state representative and your state senator. Tell those people who you are and how you think things should change and how you think things should stay the same. How many people here are ready to call up their state representative and state senator and make an appointment? I'm working on this. Right? If you are clear about wanting to make change, you need to be ready to engage the people who help to make change in this state. Everyone can find out who their state representative and state senator is on their iPhone. Right? All you put in is wheredoivotema.com, and you're going to get a form, and you're going to have to put your address in that form, because depending on where you live depends which person is your representative or senator. Put the name in, find out who your elected officials are, send an email to your state representative, send an email to your state senator, and make that appointment. They will get back to you real soon. Make that appointment, begin that engagement, understand that this house is yours, but it doesn't mean anything if you never come. This government is yours, but it means nothing if you do not engage it. It is so good to see you all here.
So now to the podium, I'd like to ask these two wonderful ladies from Mass Vote.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Charlene Tavares. I've been a part of Mass Vote since January 2015. Before joining Mass Vote, I never had an interest in politics. It came off as boring, unimportant, and I thought, what's the point of caring if I'm not old enough to vote? Well, my perspective has changed over the course of getting to work with this organization. Mass Vote is an example of a group of youth who come together to make change. At Mass Vote, we educate people on the importance of voting. That includes other youth, adults, and new citizens. We also prepare and present workshops to educate other youth organizations on the importance of voting. We also participate in door knocking. We go door to door in local neighborhoods such as Dorchester, Mattapan, and Roxbury. We talk to people about important conflicts in the community such as youth jobs, health, housing, and mass incarceration. In 2014, Massachusetts passed a law called pre-registration. Pre-reg has already been available to youth in other states, and Massachusetts has finally passed it. Pre-registration will allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote, to pre-register to vote, so once they turn 18, they are already in the system prepared to vote. In 2016 presidential election, those of you that are 18 will be eligible to vote. For those of you that will not, pre-registration will be available August 1st of next year. We are hoping that it could be available even sooner than that. Pre-reg is going to affect my younger brother and cousins, and voting will be instilled at them in a young age. This will also help them become frequent voters as they get older. It is important to vote if you're 18 or older because your vote can help those around you that are unable to vote. It is your voice and many others in unison that can change the direction of your community, state, and nation, and even the world. It is important that our generation realizes it is the decisions and policies that we vote on today that will impact the rest of our lives. Youth can do so many amazing things, big or small. Join in peaceful rallies, encourage your parents to vote, engage in community service, and so on. Your voice then be heard. I encourage those of you that are 18 to register to vote today. If you will be 18 by the next presidential election in November 2016, you should also register. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sadia Hawley, and I'm also from Mass Vote. At Mass Vote, we are a nonpartisan organization, which means we do not support a specific candidate. We just want to educate people about the importance of voting and increase voter turnout by encouraging people to vote. Also, we want to inform young people about the importance of civic engagement. Being civically engaged is important because it is a way to make a difference in the community, government, and advocate for others. The presidential election is important to young people because of issues such as education. Issues such as education is imperative for youth because of college loans, youth jobs, and taxes. The next president will have to deal with these issues, and it is essential for youth to be aware about the elections because the issues can affect us directly. Teens can influence election by telling their parents which candidates best represent their interests. Most young people believe that their vote does not matter or that it's insignificant, but it does matter because young people make up 20% of the voting population, which means the youth vote can be very influential. A friend told me that he would not vote when he turned 18, and he would let others vote. This made me very angry because voting is a fundamental right, and why would one choose to ignore it? That is why it is important to educate youth about the importance of voting so it will become habitual, and because voting is the most important civic right. Teens can use their voice to be involved in the community to change things or improve things to benefit others. We can be the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you.
And now, our last speaker in the series, Mr. John Norena from Teen Empowerment.
Hello, everyone, and good morning. Good afternoon, excuse me. My name is John Norena, and I'm a former youth organizer for Teen Empowerment. I'm a 21-year-old Latino that grew up in Somerville and have seen what others might not believe. From gang wars on my street corner to a dramatic loss of after-school activities and jobs due to budget cuts in my community. Now, I've not personally been paying as much attention as I should be to the presidential campaign, but for what I've seen, it really looks as though some Americans believe that our country needs a loud, disrespectful, and politically incorrect person to lead we the people. How are we supposed to expect this type of person to create opportunity for youth, not only in my community, but all around the country? Only more opportunity will create a better future for the youth in America. This is why it's important that our next president makes this one of the main priorities needed to be focused on. I grew up in East Homerville, and all I can say is without the opportunity I got working for teen empowerment, I would either be dead or in prison. I used to surround myself with negative people and do and see things that harm me till this present day. Working with teen empowerment made me unleash a different me with a great mind and a great voice, which I've grown to learn is the real me. Not everyone gets this opportunity in the United States. Of course, if we did, how do you think this would affect the whole country? This is why it's important for the youth in our country to pay more attention to the presidential campaign and register to vote. Because you might hear that our votes don't matter, but every vote counts. This is our country, and we should be able to choose who leads our country into the right path. Because if we all pay attention and we all voted, we would change the country for the better. Thank you.
We have one more speaker, actually. I forgot somebody. The smooth criminal right here, Mr. DeAndre. I'll give it up from Teen Empowerment.
Do I just speak?
It's the microphone. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. And before I start, I don't know. I have a disorder, so I laugh a lot. So when I'm nervous. So my name is DeAndre, and I'm a youth organizer at Teen Empowerment. And I want to talk to y'all about poverty and how it really impacted on our lives. And it's really hard because it's dependent on either if you living in a house or not, or good educational opportunities. And I want to get a little personal and tell y'all about my life. My mom, my sister, and me live in a subsidized apartment in Roxbury. Our rent is only $1,200. Well, I think it's only $1,200. I don't know. So I don't think it was a big deal to me because I was a little kid and I used to go to school, so I just spend money on anything. Then my sister got a job come out. She saw my mom struggling with the rent. She got a job at Primark. Then a few weeks later, we got a letter saying that our rent is going to be raised to $1,450. I got the letter. I tossed it to my mom. I was like, all right, here, housing send you a letter. I don't know any better. I just went to my room and played Xbox. So then they started working together, and they were still struggling. So I went to Teen Empowerment, and I got a job. We got another phone call. Housing said that our rent is going to be raised to $165. Now we're struggling to pay the rent check to check, and it was kind of hard. So when I think of all that happened to me and my family, and one word pops in my head is poverty. This system is helping some families out when they live in check to check, but it's really not doing enough. I'm sharing this with you because we need to change, and it's up to us to do what we can to make that change. How much poverty we have is decided by who fills up this State House and also the White House in Washington. The ones that deciding whether we'll get the chance to go to college or we will be living on the streets. So the government make those decisions, but we make the decisions about who gets to be our leaders. Joining Opportunity Youth United is a good step. It's helping to get the power to change the world and get away from poverty. Thank you.
So if you've been inspired by anybody who's spoken today, I want you to clap it up, yell, scream, do whatever you gotta do. for the teen empowerment, mass vote, youth build. Who else we heard from? City Year Up. To our elected officials, the point is, I'm 35 years old, and I have never seen this many young people at the State House inside of the Great Hall, so give it up for yourself. Remember when I told you that the good part is that you'll be inspired and excited, but the kind of bad part is kind of long. The reason why it's kind of long is we got a lot to say to a lot of people. So I'm gonna give it up to James. We have about 10 more speakers to go, but before I do that, I want everyone to take out your phones. If you don't have a phone, that's cool. The person next to you might have a phone. Got phones? I want you to turn the selfie cam on you and your friends or whoever you're sitting next to. Some people's families came out.
Word.
And what I'd like you to do, pick a phone, and I need you to take a selfie right now of the people you're with. All right. Who still didn't take a selfie? Word. What up? Who wants to take a selfie with us? I need a quickie, like someone take a picture, right? Ready? Awesome. And what I'd like you to do is whether it's Snapchat, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter and Facebook, I need you to post your selfie with the hashtag #Opportunity Youth United. Pound, we at the State House, get like us. Pound whatever you got to get the message out to people that today young people took over the State House.
And you also can record too. So if you want to, do like a quick 10 seconds to record everybody in here, do that. But also make sure you hashtag Opportunity Youth Matter, Opportunity Youth Speak, Opportunity Youth United, We United, and I'm gonna pass the mic.
So what's gonna happen now, so you guys like stretch out a little bit, post your selfies, and we're gonna get back to the program. So you heard a little bit about service, you heard a little bit about youth political power. We're now gonna talk about education and justice for all. So James, it's your turn.
All right, y'all. So we in the state of Massachusetts. Hey, mistakes happen. I'm human. So we in the state of Massachusetts. So Massachusetts is known for education, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
All right, I guess that's good enough. So without further ado, I want to introduce a young lady. Her name is Jade. She's a powerful youth organizer at Teen Empowerment. And so I would like to have her come up here and so she can speak to education. And following up behind her, I would like to have Jaquana, Amanda, and Nora, as well as Tanea. If you all can come take a seat up here, that'd be great. They'll all be speaking and representing education today, all right? So without further ado, Jade.
Hi, my name is Jade and I'm a Teen Empowerment Youth Organizer. Thank you. Today I wanted to talk about our education system and how our nation was historically had a system where only a selected few succeed. I personally feel like knowledge is a way to get true success. The ability to create knowledge is the most powerful thing that humanity has created on this earth. In life, there are tons of things you can receive, from money, a promotion, or even a new car. But these things can all be taken away from you because they are examples of temporary happiness. However, knowledge is unstoppable, and once you get it, no one can take it away from you. But I don't feel like the government is giving us the chance to acquire the power of knowledge that we need to succeed in today's society. With going to college gradually becoming a requirement in today's society, to become successful, we are forced into very difficult positions. Because if you go to college and you want to become successful, most chances are that you'll be paying off that debt your entire life. And many of us have so much to overcome because our ancestors were brought here as slaves without rights. We were not included in the Declaration of Independence. We had no right to vote, and we were described as a piece of property. That is why it is so important for us to get the chance to have a decent education. But the most impressive thing is that in some ways we are letting this happen to us. Some of us do not support those who support us, but instead we turn against each other, which is exactly what those who wish us harm want us to do. It is time for us to stop turning on each other and start turning towards each other. When people like Donald Trump go up and bash minorities, Mexicans, Muslims, and even make fun of disabled people who need to stand up together as one and tell him that we will not accept this hatred and totally reject his kind of twisted leadership. We will stand up together as one and tell him that we will not accept his hatred and totally reject his kind of twisted leadership. So what I am asking for my people is to invest in our future. Our government, like those in Canada, France, and England, should provide us with money to go to universities, colleges, and have good high schools to provide better education so our youth can stay off the street. I would also strongly speak out to break down racial stereotypes wherever they are expressed. And our city and our state needs to invest more in year-round jobs for our youth so that we have money to save and take care of ourselves, which will lower crime and violence in our community. History has a way of repeating itself. Lincoln freed the slaves, but Jim Crow laws imprisoned so many in poverty. Martin Luther King worked for civil rights, and the country elected his first African-American president in 2008. But today we have people working to take away our rights, our voting rights, and spread racial hatred. It is time for our generation to break this cycle. We need to stand up together as one and demand that our voices be heard and our rights as human beings be recognized so that our children that follow us will be given a fair chance in life. Thank you.
I told y'all she was powerful. Y'all ain't want to believe me. Just saying. All right. So next up, we got Jaquan. You ready? Did I say it right? I'm sorry. Okay. It's on you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaquana Gilchrist. I'm 22 years old from Boston, and I'm currently an Opportunity Youth. I spent the last year as an AmeriCorps Vista at the Boston Private Industry Council, where I would advocate and make policy changes for Opportunity Youth. In September, I enrolled at Bunker Hill Community College. As an alumni at ESAC's GED program, I will speak to you today on protecting and expanding pathways to higher education. In moving through many pathways, I understand the importance of this issue. My journey started at Madison Park High School. In my senior year, I learned that I failed the MCAS by 2 points again. I tried passing 3 times before. From that moment, I thought my life was over and I would never attend college. I sat at home for about 3 months, very depressed, but then I found GED Plus and decided to continue my education and pursue my high set. ESAC's GED Plus offered me an opportunity where I would advocate with Boston Youth Service Network and the Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative, also known as Youth Voice Project. At Bison, I learned about public speaking, how to set and achieve goals, and I learned how to advocate for myself and the community. ESAC's GED Plus and Youth Voice Project helped me set a path for myself to continue my education, learn that myself and young people have a voice, and that youth opportunities are important. I then learned about AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps was created for Opportunity Youth to engage in their communities and learn skills for their future. I was nervous, but I still applied, and surprisingly, I was selected the first candidate from 10 cities nationally. Thank you. I built partnerships with organizations around services from disconnected youth, asset mapping, to draw out community resources and providing ongoing support for youth around participating in programs. Then I was connected to College Bound Dorchester, where I was part of their GED to college prep program. I became accustomed to college-like classes, and I overcame the fear of not fitting in because I didn't know what to expect in college. Once I graduated, I went straight to Bunker Hill Community College and applied. I then received a letter the next day. Without these programs, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today, speaking about my journey. I am thankful for the path that I have taken because of career pathway programs like GED+, Bison, Youth Voice Project, and AmeriCorps. Young people like myself will continue to have support to build their confidence. We have programs that believe in us, so we believe in ourselves, our voice, and the ability to affect change. As young people, our voice is very important. Start off with getting registered to vote. Every vote counts. Once the adults and the politicians start seeing that you're taking something serious, they'll listen and respect you. As an opportunity youth, as we stand united, our voices will be heard. Talk about your experience in career to college pathways. Don't be afraid to ask for help and accessing resources that can help you reach your goals. Advocate with your local politicians to protect and expand pathways and access to higher education. My name is Jaquana Gilchrist, graduate of ESAC's GED Plus program. Thank you for your time and consideration today.
Education is key. Education is key. And as you heard her speak, she talked about a lot of comprehensive programs that helped her guide her to where she is right now. And that's what's needed. That's also one of the actual recommendations that we list in the beginning of our program. Expand comprehensive programs to help the individual, young people in general, in every aspect of their life. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Amanda and Nora from DS&I.
My name is Amanda Shabowich.
And my name is Noraitza Ruiz.
In 2011, we were both opportunity youth.
With no hope in sight for opportunities.
I went to a school where I didn't fit in.
I went to a school where I felt hopeless.
I started skipping school, hanging out with the wrong kind of people, and giving up.
I didn't care about school, so I just fought a lot.
I dropped out of high school as a junior.
I dropped out of high school as a sophomore.
I thought I had ruined my life and thought I was going to have no future.
I thought I was just going to be another dropout statistic.
I was depressed, anxious, and doing drugs to deal with everyday life.
I was bored, discouraged, and I started to lose interest in things that used to make me happy. Then we got referred to an alternative education
program. I started at Boston Day and Evening Academy as an evening student in January 2012.
I started the Boston Day and Evening Academy as a day student in 2012.
I felt welcome, I felt at home, and I felt like someone who mattered and was heard.
I felt immediately welcomed by all staff and students.
If I skipped class, my teachers wanted to know why and wanted to help.
If I was absent, my advisor would call me just to check in.
I was actually excited to go to school again.
I felt like a new person with new hopes, a person who believed in who I was.
I graduated 6 months later with a 3.8 GPA and was awarded academic achievement for my graduating class.
I graduated in 2013 and was awarded the Leadership and Service Award of 2013 of my graduating class.
I got an internship as a teacher's assistant right after I graduated.
I got an internship as a career readiness assistant right after I graduated.
I I worked with a teacher for 6 months and then continued to volunteer for the next 2 years.
I worked with a teacher for 3 months, then continued to volunteer for another year.
I was accepted to Suffolk University in 2013.
I was accepted to Roxbury Community College in 2014.
I then got hired in the postgraduate planning office and got to assist students in graduating and applying to post-secondary programs.
I was hired to work alongside staff and to assist day-to-day support of students.
Boston Day and Evening Academy gave so much to us that we wanted to give back in any way we could. This comprehensive program helped us graduate, attend college, and eventually find work.
Since April, Amanda and I have worked together in the Youth Voice Project.
We provide and promote resources for Opportunity Youth throughout Boston and try to enforce the importance of young people sharing their stories and amplifying their voices.
We had different beginnings, but we ended up in the same place.
We have different stories, but we share a common goal.
We want to help young people.
Comprehensive programming saved our lives, got us our high school diplomas, offered us a chance to go to college, granted us internships, and helped us mature into the young women we are today.
It taught us to love ourselves, love others, and to be strong and to work very hard.
Youth voice matters.
Programming matters.
Opportunities for Opportunity Youth matters.
We were lucky to have found these programs, to find this work, but it shouldn't be about luck.
I want youth to have access to a rich variety of programs that fit their needs, that connect them to internships, to work, to post-secondary, and to success.
It is not a privilege to be connected to resources. It is a right.
Working with the Youth Voice Project has allowed me to meet many amazing young people and adults in this field who are here today.
Working for the Youth Voice Project has allowed me to attend and facilitate events.
Working with the Youth Voice Project has allowed me to travel and meet with other youth leaders across the country.
Working with the Youth Voice Project has allowed me to work with public officials and interview the governor.
But this is what really matters. The Youth Voice Project is allowing us to share our stories, to work alongside everyone here to raise up every young person's voice until we are heard, loud and crystal clear.
We will share our stories, our common goals, until we are blue in the face.
These stories are many, different but similar, like me and Nora's, but we are a united front of young people and allies.
We will not be overlooked, unheard, or ignored.
Because no decisions about youth should be made without youth.
And we are here,
we are Opportunity Youth, and we are united. Thank you.
Y'all give it up one more again for Nora and Amanda. All right, y'all. So right now we want to turn it over to Tanea, better known as Hazella, and she's going to perform a song called Graduated. So come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name's Tanea, better known as Hazella. I'm 18 years old, and I am with the Bison organization. Right now, I'm a senior in high school, and I will be graduating in June. I'm an upcoming artist, and I have a song that will be releasing in April called Graduated. Right now, you guys are gonna get a quick sneak peek, a cappella version, and I'm gonna need you guys to sing along and clap with me. So right now, everyone can stand up. Okay. Dance with me, go ahead, get crazy. Years and years of being irritated. Late nights, homework frustrated. Clap for me cause I graduated. Dance with me, go ahead, get crazy. Years and years of being irritated. Late nights, homework frustrated. Clap for me cause I graduated. Looking back, I've been on this wild journey. Teachers were wrong, I argue like an attorney. Always been smart, no interrupting my learning. I did my work no matter what I was earning. In elementary, I wanted to be the reader. Teachers got on me, referring me as the leader. If I did wrong, everyone else would just follow me. But doing right made it okay for the copy and soccer and basketball, and then moving to Medford, crying, making new friends and bonding with leaving the hood and argue. Growing up every day, I'm up and down in my grades, just trying to figure a way. These friends, they just will betray. Still playing with Little Dre. My skies are blue, then they're gray. Mr. Labor would always say, hey Zella, you'll be okay. Now I graduated, I finished. Look at the diploma, like man, I did it. Dance with me, go ahead, get crazy. Years and years of being irritated. Late nights, homework frustrated. Clap for me cause I graduated. Dance with me, go ahead, get crazy. Years and years of being irritated. Late nights, homework frustrated. Clap for me cause I graduated. Thank you.
Listen, I just felt like I just graduated. Yo, give it up for Hazella one more again. She did an amazing job. So, everybody just left me. I feel left alone. But I got my peoples. And we gonna be all right. And we gonna be all right. All right, so, all right, y'all. So now I would like to introduce. The program is messed up. Representative Liz Malia.
Can we get everyone's attention, please? You know, it's really important that when elected officials make the time to come be with us, that we also welcome them, because we need them, they need us. So if we can all turn our attention to Representative Liz Malia, let's give her a warm, very warm welcome.
Thank you, everybody. I just have to tell you that it is an unbelievable up for me to see you all here today and to know how many other faces you represent. Your physical presence here, but your mental and your emotional connection to the work that you're trying to do. Opportunity Youth United, the Speak Out piece. I'm sorry I couldn't be here earlier, but I just want to offer my voice and my encouragement to you to stick with the work you're doing, because as someone who started out in college not knowing where I wanted to go, I worked with migrant farm workers in upstate New York in the summers when I was going to college. And when I got out, I couldn't get a job with the degree that I had because I was in education and they weren't hiring teachers then in Boston. I have a very interesting and crazy path to how I got here. But the work that I did when I was a student and when I was in high school, because some of my work started just as I graduated, absolutely was the reason that I ended up here. And if I ever had an hour to tell you, I'd draw the line and you wouldn't believe it, because I've been all over the place. But every one of you here can participate in terms of the policies that need to be formed and funded to continue the work that you're doing. And I understand it is most important to me that the programming that you have continues to be funded. And every year, we go back and have to fight the same battles over and over again, and that's not right. The reason it's not right is because we don't have enough people that look like you and can represent the issues that you have here in this building. The few of us that are here, you probably heard from my Representative Carvalho, my colleague earlier. We have adjacent districts. I represent part of Grove Hall, part of Eggleston Square, part of Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, and Rosendale. We need more people in this building to do this work so that the outcome is much better than it is today. And you are the only people who can really present the arguments and really keep us honest. So I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not going to be here much longer. I really want to know that there is new blood coming in that you represent that's going to be taking my position, Evandro's position, all the rest of us who are here, so that you can make sure that we fashion policy and fund the kinds of programs that change lives, that give our young people an opportunity to really correct some of the mistakes and the negatives in our society. And I honestly believe that. I just want to say thank you, because I think every one of you works hard, whether you're in a paying position or not. The work that you do is invaluable. And I don't know that you get a chance to say thank you. Anybody thanks you very often for that, and I want to say thank you, because it really matters a lot to me. And I just want to say, you're doing the right thing, you're great. I love it. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you so much, Representative. All right, y'all. All right, so we got to get the ball rolling. We almost there, y'all. Hold on, hold on. We almost there. But this is an important event. I'm glad that y'all here. But with that being said, really we want to dive into justice for all. So my idea for justice for all is for all of us to have the opportunity to be treated as equal and not have to fight for what we should already have access to. I feel like there's too much of us fighting for access to opportunities where opportunities should be not given to us, but it should be close nearby. And with that being said, I want to turn it over to the few people that will be talking about justice for all. So we have Hakeem Harris, Shireen, Elvin Gilmer, Emmanuel, and we have two young ladies from Madison Park. If they can come up, please. So, it's on you right now. Yeah, it's on you right now. You starting to go?
Being human is the purest thing we can be. But it doesn't quite work that way for a guy like me. I know you don't know me and I don't know you, so who do you think I am? Never mind, don't answer that. Your opinion shouldn't matter because no matter who we are, we're all equal, right? Wrong. That's not the case. See to George Zimmerman, Officer Darren Wilson, Officer Daniel Pantaleo, Bill O'Reilly, and countless other racist whites, and even Donald Trump. I'm the average, reckless, gang-banging, society-threatened nigga. Is that what I am to you too? Hopefully not. I'm 19 years old. I'm a 2014 graduate of Tech Boston Academy. I'm a signed artist. I'm an uncle of two, a brother of six, and a friend to many. I love to read, study philosophy, and write poetry, and I consider myself an activist for justice. My purpose in life is to be a messenger of peace through my music, my words, and my actions. But according to someone's outrageous statistics, I'm at the age where I'm most violent just because I'm a black male. Society seems to think my culture encourages that type of behavior. The Black Lives Matter movement is seen as radical, rioting, out-of-place black folks who are angry for no reason. I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse us for being so oppressed with almost 500 years of injustice under our belts. But there's no racism in America, right? At least people like Donald Trump, Bill O'Reilly, and many other rich people don't think there is. They don't want to be looked at as one. To them, there are no cops that intentionally kill young black men. To them, there is no news media that bashes my people. To them, there are no politicians that ignore our oppression. They are completely avoiding everything they're supposed to be responsible for. But me, I can't avoid the realities I face every day. For I am Trayvon Martin, I am Mike Brown, I am Eric Gardner, I am Kendrick Johnson. I was born August 28th, which is the same day Emmett Till was murdered for making a comment to a white girl in Mississippi in 1955. So yes, I am Emmett Till. And so I ask you, who are you? And what are we gonna do about this injustice? To begin with, we need to respect each other. And rather than fighting each other, we need to join forces together. That's what Opportunity Youth United is all about. We need to use our voice and speak against oppression. We need to register and vote for change in this world. And we need to use our energies to create a world where our children will get the opportunity that they need and deserve. My name is Hakeem Iman Harris Jr., son of Crystal, grandchild of 2 Black Panthers. Thank you.
Can I get another round of applause for Keem, please? Hi, my name is Shireen Monteiro. I'm 14 years old and I work as a teen empowerment youth organizer. I want to talk about a struggle we face in this community, let alone country, which is the relationship between youth and police. Many news articles and protests have been made circling this topic, yet it hasn't been resolved. Teens from all over the country have been victims of crimes and stereotypes, and police are being bashed and shamed for doing their job. What can be done to build better relationships between teens and police? Stopping the stereotypes and assumptions, meaning cops stop assuming that every male of color is armed and dangerous, and teens stop assuming that every cop will abuse their power. This also needs to be heard on a national level, because wars have been started and it's time for those wars to be ceased. Politicians and legislative officials need to stop pushing this issue aside and need to take positive action to deal with it. Imagine our community if police and youth had a positive bond. Close your eyes and think about it. Y'all thinking? Great. Now, imagine our entire country if police and youth from everywhere were given the time and resources that they needed to build that positive bond. In order to make this happen, the government needs to fund youth leadership programs that can work to improve police-youth relationships. I know this work isn't easy, but I know it can be done because I've done it. So I say, think big, dream big, and the outcome will be big. Thank you.
High five, bro. Give it up one more again for Shireen. She did it big. She thought big, she dreamed big, and she did it big. All right. Next up, Evan. Mayor. Evan gonna be mayor for 2030, I'm telling you.
Hello everyone, my name's Evan. I'm a youth organizer for Teen Empowerment. In order for our society to succeed, our future must always be striving to look better than our past. At this moment, however, the backbone of our future is in dire straits. The young people of our country face almost double the unemployment rate of their adult counterparts. In order to bring change, we must shed light on the plight of the young working class. The Brookings Institute conducted a study of unemployment rates among youth and the factors associated with it. What they found was that from 2000 to 2011, the teen employment fell from 44% to 24%. That's almost half. Secondly, the study showed that low-income households were also less likely to have employed youth. Young people in my community and across the nation no longer live in a world where year-round employment is an option but a necessity. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, $50 in 1980 is equivalent to $144 in 2015. While minimum wage has only increased minutely and sporadically across the country since 2009, if at all. So in many cases, we must take some of the breadwinner's responsibility in our own homes, as well as for our own personal future and use. We can also not ignore the experience and skills we gain from having a job as well. The Brookings study also saw that youth who were employed the previous year were more likely to be employed again. A job is also something that should be able to be relied on. DeAndre's rent does not go away in the winter, and neither should his job employment opportunities. Summer jobs are a temporary solution to a constant problem and cannot be seen as a resolution to close the book on the issue. But in order to see real change, I implore all youth to unite under a common cause, and the adults and those of voting age to support through voice and your vote for year-round jobs. Thank you.
Vote for Evan, Mayor, 2030. Don't forget, y'all, before y'all leave, go back in the back. Mass vote is back there for us to register. I mean, we talking about it, but we need to see people moving into action and going back there. Don't mean to call nobody out, but I mean to call somebody out. But now we want to pass it off to Manny.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing today? So I'm Emmanuel Nags. I'm from JFF, Jobs for the Future, and Excel Education. I work as a math instructor, and I also do student support. I'm also a success coach at the Connection Center. In the presidential campaign, I don't like the fact I see no real discussions about youth from the candidates. This troubles me deeply. It makes me feel how I felt when I was an opportunity youth. When I was young, I never cared for voting. I didn't feel like it benefited me. So I was so wrong. I was pushed out of a school system due to harsh punishment from the zero tolerance policy. I later was incarcerated. While incarcerated, I found it tough to get schooling when it came to post-secondary education. This shows you how the school-to-prison pipeline promotes mass incarceration. The school-to-prison pipeline begins with inadequate resources in the public school system. The inadequate resources are overcrowded classrooms, lack of qualified teachers, and funding for extra services such as counseling, mentors, and special education services for mental health students, students with housing issues, and many other issues. Mass incarceration is higher in our country than any other country. All these youths being pushed out of school, into the streets, and eventually into the prison system. Sadly, all this potential going to waste if we don't do something about it. Let's break this school-to-prison pipeline. The government likes to make decisions for youth without the youth. That's a problem. The government needs to hear us because youth need more training and educational programs so they can pursue careers in opposed to just jobs that they can barely take care of their families with. We all need to come together as one voice for all of our youth. Let's get them registered, vote, and get the right people in office. Our voices can bring these changes, and I want to thank you.
As y'all see in the back, we had the young people dressed up in prison suits, and then we had the young person step up with the cap and gown. If you saw that imagery, that was a powerful, powerful imagery from the school to prison pipeline. Briefly, I just want y'all to know that I had a father that was incarcerated for 30 years. He got locked up at the age of 20, and the reason being is because he didn't have access to opportunities, and because of that, he got stuck in the prison system for 30 of his years in prison. 30 years of his life in prison. Same thing happened to my younger brother. He served 10 years of his life in prison, and it started from the school system. He got expelled, they got suspended, and then they ended up in the prison system. We gotta do something about this, y'all. We can't just let this slide. That's why it's important for us to be here right now, today, to make something happen. And this is a start, because you're here right now. So without further ado, I would like my young ladies to come up here and represent themselves, introduce themselves. Madison Park Community Development Corporation.
Hi, we are from Madison Park Community Development Corporation. My name is Aubriana.
And my name is Nathalia, and we are both here to speak on the matter of Youth Opportunity Matters. As a raise of hand, how many of y'all lost a family member or friend due to violence? Okay. As a raise of hand, how many of y'all lost a friend or family member due to violence? On Wednesday, June 10th, I lost a close friend due to gang violence. I got a phone call saying he had passed away. I was in disbelief until the news app Okay, hold on, let me find my spot. The news app on my phone stated the shooting was reported 100 block of Fuller Street. The victim was taken to the hospital, treated for injuries, but was pronounced dead before 10 p.m. From that information of history, I instantly knew I lost somebody that was like a brother to me. As reflecting on this loss, I then realized it was not just his mother, father, little sister, aunts, uncles, and cousins, and also close friends that was affected by this loss. It was the community. Locally and nationally, this is a way bigger issue. My friend was not an isolated incident. This is something that happens every day in every state across our nation. It's time to take a stand, to do something to stop this senseless violence. This isn't an option, it's a necessary. How can you help end this cycle of violence?
In order to be able to put an end to violence amongst our youth, we need programs such as Madison Park Community Development Corporation to prevent youth from engaging in gang or drug-related activities. Comprehensive programs like this would not only provide youths with stipends, but also create educational pathways allowing them to better themselves in their situations. To bring it back full circle, think about the 5.5 million youths that are educationally disconnected. Without education, it is substantially harder to build a stable life and career, and therefore these youth may follow the wrong path. If there were more programs like Teen Empowerment, DSNI, and Madison Park Community Development Corporation, there would be more of a chance of Nathalia's friend being alive today. Programs like these would provide those 5.5 million youths a better chance of succeeding. Like Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you.
So for those of you that stuck with us, we're almost there. And I was compelled to share a little story before we introduce our next group real quickly, was that my name is Liz. Most of you have heard me in the last hour, born and raised on Dudley Street. I was fortunate to be involved in Dudley Street, Teen Empowerment, My Town, Orchard Park Teen Center, and a bunch of different programs before I graduated high school. What most people don't know is all three of my brothers have been incarcerated. Brother 1 did 10 years and was deported. Brother 2 has been in and out of jail for the whole 18 years we've been adults. And Brother 3 has been to jail twice on gun charges. So we can all tell that there's a huge difference. You can grow up in the same house, same community, same family, and one opportunity or one decision could take you down a path. Here I am, their sister, went to Wellesley, have been an entrepreneur, and now back to youth work, and all three of my brothers have done time. So when we talk about mass incarceration, we all gotta be connected, because it might not be affecting you personally, but it's affecting someone we know and love. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So I want to get it a little live in here right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce this group, singing group called Smooth Impact. And I'm going to turn it over to them.
How we gonna?
1, 2, 3. Ooh, 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
I just want you to look at me, to see that I can be what you love. I just want you to look at me, to see that I can be good enough, good enough, good enough. Good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough. Ooh, bother. Father, Father, I just want you to look at me, to see that I can be what you love. I just want you to look at me, to see that I can be good enough, good enough, good enough. Good enough, good enough, good enough, good enough.
Did they have a smooth impact or what? Give it up for smooth impact one more again, y'all. Woo. Yo, this is just a beautiful, truly beautiful, amazing, a wonderful day. All of this powerful talent, young people speaking about the issues that needs to be addressed. I'm glad y'all here, and I'm happy to be here with y'all. So without further ado, what I would like to do is introduce Representative Gloria Fox, Chief Assistant, Mary. Now, I had the opportunity to meet with Mary for the Youth Jobs Rally last winter, and this was when the winter was crazy. And she gave a powerful speech to the young people that I brought with me about the importance of education and going further to post-secondary education. So without further ado, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Good afternoon. I think I'm coming behind the right movement because those young brothers can pipe. Wow. So my name is Mary Tuitt. I'm Chief of Staff of State Representative Gloria Fox, the Dean of Women in the House of Representatives, the only African-American woman in the House of Representatives at this moment. Nice, right? You know, I love my job. So not only am I Chief of Staff with State Representative Gloria Fox, I sit on the Mass Commission on the Status of Women. I also sit on the Boston Veterans Advisory Council to the Mayor, 14-year United States Navy veteran, aviation machinist mate. I was a jet mechanic. I look good for a jet mechanic, don't I? Check, right? So, I'm Caribbean born. I'm Black Irish. I come from a little island called Montserrat. When I came to the States, they said, go back on my boat. They called me coconut. They called me foreigner. They called me immigrant. They called me everything. They said I spoke backwards because I had a little bit of patois in my voice, you know. But guess where I'm at? I'm here, Chief of Staff for the longest seated woman in the House. I grew up in Dorchester, Morton Street, on the corner of Morton and Blue. There you go. I was there before Chevu. I was there when before the police station was a police station. You know, I came here during that tough time, the 70s. I learned about busing. I learned about everything else. Then after we got a little, you know, better in life, my mom, there was 5 of us. I have 8 brothers. That's a hard thing to say. But God blessed them with 1 sister. Yes. Because, trust me, my 8 brothers, I had to learn how to play football, basketball, softball, soccer, netball, everything. I had to learn it all. And I had to go to school and bring home A's, honor rolls. My mother didn't accept anything below a B, right? I was in advanced classes. I graduated Boston Tech, Townsend Street. You know, I was part of the United States Navy JROTC program. And you know what I did? Modeling, I did drama, I did all of that stuff. Even though my teachers said I was not going to amount to be anything because I really didn't like the books. But because my mom pushed me, I stayed focused. And you know when your parents say to you, you have to have that education, you get tired of hearing it. But guess what? It's up to you. It's up to you to make that choice. When I go into MCI Norfolk and MCI Concord and MCI Shirley, and I just co-created a program at MCI Framingham with the women, and I talk to my brothers and sisters behind the wall, and that's what they call me. They call me Sister Mary. They call me their warrior sister, because when I go in there, I tell them, and we have conversation and dialogue about what's wrong on the streets and why they're behind the wall. Do you know what's wrong on the streets? Anybody back there have an idea? Just raise your hand. What's wrong on the streets? Violence? You think it's violence? No, it's not violence, baby. You know what the problem is? Violence exists and the struggle exists, but what the problem is we don't use our power. we don't use our vote. We don't use our voices. We can't complain about what's happening on the streets because we don't elect the people that want to hear what we have to say. We don't. I actually have friends who are liking Donald Trump.
Still your friends?
No, I don't, no. I use that word lightly with that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to use our power. So in this section, call to action. Action. It's a process of doing something to achieve a goal. It's to influence, impact, affect, power, deed, undertaking. So what I'm doing right now is I'm calling you to action. I'm challenging you, each and every one of you, to action. I'm challenging you to do something that's positive for you, your family, your community, your environment, your state, and the nation. Because if you do not step up and use your power that you have, that other people died to make sure you have. 95 years ago was the women's suffrage movement. 50 years ago was civil rights movement. Guess what's happening today? The movement of the youth. Is it not? Is it not? I don't hear you. Movement of the what? There you go. Because we have to talk about our future. Because what's past is past. Present is done. It'll be done in a few more hours. But the future is up to you. The future is up to your younger siblings and your peers and your parents, because your voice, you can go home and say, Ma, do you know if we go out and vote primary elections and general elections and municipal elections, national and local elections, that if we vote for the people that hear what we have to say, we might have some change. You know, we might have increase in wages. We might have an earned income that fits what is needed for today. It's a shame that we have young people graduating from college and universities with degrees who have to live at home or work at McDonald's because they can't get a job. McDonald's is not bad. You know they have a university, and you have to go there to be a manager. So let's talk about, where do you want to go? Who in here wants to go further than today? Who sees their future? Who wants to be a part of that? Who is ready to motivate and affect somebody and impact somebody in a youth opportunity of uniting the nation together? I don't see y'all. Come on. Let's see. There you go. James, you ready?
I think you just did my job and everybody else's.
Well, you told me to come up and get them motivated.
You sure did. You got them motivated. Uh-oh, that's okay. Things happen. You got it. See, we have to help each other. I am my brothers and sisters.
He makes me nervous sometimes.
I'm so sorry. But give it up. All right, y'all. We got a few more little words to go before we all exit. And what I want to do is I want to pass it off to Jair Ferreira, youth organizer for teen empowerment.
Thank you, James. Well, my name is Jair Ferreira. I'm a 21-year-old youth organizer for teen empowerment, and I just got a few words to just run through real quick. I just want to start off by reminding everybody to register to vote if you're of age, and if you're not able to vote, inspire and encourage your family members and your friends to vote. Take that initiative. And also, sign up for OYU, be an OYU member 100%. It's easy, like right now you can text OYU, you can text 22828 and just send OYU, and it will send you like the options to become a member. It's like that easy. Yeah, so I'm gonna say it again. You can text 22828 and just text OYU to that number. And it's that simple and that easy, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And I just want to say, like, this opportunity is very rare and unique, you know, for organizations to come together, you know, for youth to be able to build a movement that can, you know, decrease poverty and end discrimination and injustice. OYU will give so many deserving youth an opportunity now and in the future to have a voice, you know, to have power with voice, and to build a community, you know, just build a society based off love and responsibility for all. It's that simple. And we all gotta take advantage of this, you know, opportunity that's rare. Just like she said, a lot of things happened in the past, and this is the youth movement. This is the youth movement. So thank you, and I'm gonna hand it off to Joe from Youth Build.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joel Miranda. I am with Youth Build USA. I've reached the point in my life that I can't call myself youth anymore, but it's okay. I accept it. But I am very proud that I can be here as I've been working with OYU as a big brother. I'm very proud that I can be here as a caring adult and an ally to the young people who are leading Opportunity Youth United. And so I want to talk for a minute to the adults in the room, and for those of you who are on that verge, right? You're coming out of the years that you can call yourself youth, and now you've got to come to terms with the fact that you got to be an adult, right? Well, what does it mean to be a caring adult, right? And this is what it means to me. It means to support our young people in achieving their dreams, right? To not put limitations on what they want to do, to love them unconditionally. And I know that there are adults in here in this room because they love young people, but we've got to have our friends, our brothers, our sisters be willing to be the older brothers to these young people, right? There are young men and women in our communities whose dads, whose mothers, whose older brothers, older sisters are not around. Let's embrace them, let's support them, let's bring them into this movement and amplify their voice. Because I don't know how many, if you've thought about this, so those who are not being killed in the streets are slowly dying by the chronic illnesses that people who live in poverty develop over time. The high blood pressure, diabetes, at a higher rate than other populations. So poverty is literally killing us. Inequality is killing us. It is making us sick. And the only way that we are going to lift our communities out of poverty and create a pathway to better health is by uniting, amplifying the voice of young people, right? And being allies to them. So this is Opportunity Youth United, right? But this is about an intergenerational movement where we lift the voices of young people in low-income communities. So for the adults in the room, I want you to also lift your phones, text OYU to 22828 and become an adult ally member of Opportunity Youth United, because we're in this together. There's this quote I love by Mother Teresa that says, I can do things you can do, you can do things, I can do things you cannot do, you can do things I cannot do. Together we can do great things. So let's come together and do great things.
All right, y'all, man. What a powerful day. A lot has happened, a lot has been said, and now, again, what we really want to do is, the whole focus of Opportunity Youth United here in Boston is to really have a cross-sector collaboration between youth agencies and organizations to really build a youth voice, right? For young people to come together and build an organization where young people are represented and talking about the issues that needs to be implemented or changed in our city and state in Massachusetts, all right? So that's our goal. We are going to be having our first meeting to start planning this in January. So if you stay tuned to oyunited.org, if you follow us on the Facebook page, if you follow us on Twitter, it's OY United, you'll be updated on where that place is. We have your email, we have all your information. Hopefully, if we don't, please speak to me afterward, and we will surely contact you about the event, the meeting coming up in January, all right? And without further ado, I would like to say thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your time. I know there was a gentleman here that had an event that he wanted to briefly talk about, or LaShawn, would you mind Before you all go, don't leave because we would like to capture the moment. So people here, we would like to take a picture right after LaShawn does his plug. So it'd be great if we can take a huge picture together right up here behind the Opportunity Youth United signs. Is that cool? Thank y'all.
So, quick 30-second addition. In the spirit of coming together and uniting, there's an event taking place Saturday. It's with the Coalition of Schools Educating Boys and Men of Color. So they're convening young high school boys and girls to come together and help them design a plan to improve the education system in the city of Boston for boys and men of color. If you're interested, you have to register. There's a poster on that back table. Just take a picture of it and register if you get a chance. Again, we need this energy. We need to stay united and help our brothers improve the Boston public school system. And that's on Wilmer Sociedad Latina's behalf.
All right, word. So, once again, thank y'all for coming. What I would like for you all to give a round of applause to Liz, because she did a wonderful job emceeing, and I couldn't not have done this without her. And before y'all go, I see people walking towards the door. You need to walk towards the sign back here so we can capture this moment. If we all can do that, if we can all gather this up real quick, put some chairs up front so people can sit down, that'd be great. The quicker, the better. If we can work together, we can make this happen. All right? So if we can get everybody to come up here, we need moms, dads, brothers, uncles, little sisters, little brothers. We need kids. We need everybody to come up here. Come on, y'all. Come on. Yep, I was looking for that.
Too late now.
Okay, go ahead.
Guys, before we take our picture, I want to give a nice shout out to James, because thanks to him we are here and this was possible. So once again, thank you. And yeah.
All right, y'all. So I know that you all want to converse. But if we can please, if you are in the building, if you are in the Great Hall, can you please come on? Come on, you all. We passed our time limit, so we should be trying to hurry up as soon as possible to take this picture, y'all. If you are back there, yes, ma'am. Can you all come on? That'll be great. We need everybody.